Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight was. Starlight was sunbathing out there, front and back. And what's your excuse? Come on, come on. Let go of the computer. You know, discipline yourself and say, this is the only amount of time that I'm going to spend on my computer. After that, you gotta find something else to do. Like, come on out in nature and video games, like how many hours do you spend on video games or your cell phones, I know, or laptop, or tablets. I don't even know what else they have on there. You name it. So discipline yourself and say, every day, is I'm only going to spend this amount of time on my computer or my phone. And, discipline yourself in so many different ways that you say, you know what, I can't go on the computer until I get other important things done. That way you're balanced more, is to say, you know what, I cannot go on that computer until I get my dishes done, my bedroom clean, work on other things around the house and, out in the yard. Then you could reward yourself later on and say, you know what, I did all those things and now I can go and play on the computer. But you want to get out in nature somewhere and spend some time with Starlight. Starlight would love to spend some time with you out here in nature. I know this is not out in here in nature, but I wasn't sure about the weather today with the wind. So anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you could find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you could give my videos a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't be afraid, don't be shy. Swing by and say hi to Starlight by leaving me a comment down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you could share my videos. You don't even have to ask. No, you don't even have to ask permission. Starlight says, Starlight, give you permission to share my videos. Yes, you could share my videos with your family, your friends, a monkey, an ape. I'm ape about you, baby. So anyway, besides sharing my videos, you can also check out my playlist, and you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that's Kathy with a K, Ding the Starlight. So I love you all, and this video is about people out there. You might be one of these people where you want to give up. You're tired. You're worn out. You don't know what to do. You're frustrated. You're aggravated. You're overloaded. You're overwhelmed. Where you don't know how to get from here to getting to where it is that you really desire to get, in life. So this video will help people that are struggling, who want to give up, who's ready to throw, I surrender, like you got the white, flag, saying I surrender, I give up, and that I have to say, really, by surrendering, is a good way, is saying I surrender, is you can ask God, the universe, for help. Ask for help. It's okay. It's okay to ask for help. Okay? Don't let society or anybody out there to say that you got to do this on your own. No, you don't have to do this on your own. There is a lot of resources these days, more than ever. Not when I was growing up, they didn't have these. So there's a lot of resources out there in the world to help you out with the things that you're struggling with. But that is part of my message. But what I'm here to help you out with is the way this society is, that we're in a stimulation like the Matrix here, and some of you don't get it. That's okay. Please bear with me on this. Is that, this is what helped me. This really did. I was at a point in 2016-17 where I wanted to give up. I was tired. I was drained. I didn't know what else to do. None of my family knew what to do. All, my brother that's no longer here, he didn't have all the answers, Nobody had all the answers. And Starlight was like, and this is after COVID time. Bam. COVID was my wake-up call, and I hope it was a wake-up call to you. I hope that really, shines some light in this matrix to show you how crazy inside out, backwards, twisted this matrix is when COVID, when we had COVID and the things that were going on at that time. And, did you feel safe? Did you, question about your rights and, your free will that God gave you? So don't let anybody take your free will away, number one. But, it's okay that you're struggling. This is a part of life. We can't stop that. No matter how good, you have it, no matter if you got the answers or not to life and how to get through those things, everybody, even the best of the best, struggle. Even no matter who you find on YouTube, they might make it look good on their YouTube channel, but guess what? They are struggling right along with you. But they're on a higher level. They could have all the right answers to help you out in life, but they have their issues, they have their challenges. Nobody's getting through this easy. So don't be fooled by videos out there that you see that you might think, oh, they look like they, have it all set and they have it all figured out. But you don't know what's going on behind their YouTube channel or behind, media, social medias out there. You don't know the struggles that they're going through. So be grateful that we have those people out there that are helping us. And what I learned in 2007, well, it might have not been 2017, but I had help from my mentor, and I didn't know this is because I wanted to, really, I was tired. I wanted to give up. I really did. I wanted to throw the towel. I was tired of being that hamster going around in circles, not getting anywhere. And this is what they've done in this matrix here, in this stimulation here, is that they made it so you wouldn't be able to get out of it, depending on your family. They know who you are. When you're born, they know who you are. If you're one of the chosen ones, if you're awake, if you have a mission out here, they know you. The doctors know you. These people that are controlling the world, they know who you are. They know your name. They know your date of birth. They know more than you know about yourself. That's pretty scary, right? But I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to inspire you. I'm here to help you to realize that your world could be upside down, inside out, backwards, twisted, and all that stuff right now, where you're like, paycheck to paycheck all the time, every month. That is something that you can change, but you gotta make those changes. You gotta see that, there's other ways. There's always another way, to make things happen, but you gotta be understanding that you're not, you might feel stuck, but you're not stuck. You're the one that's got to realize that you need to get out of your comfort zone. That's what happens to many of us, is that we get comfortable working for the same company, and they could, treat you good, but that you're not fully happy with that company. You know that, you're just barely making it, and so this video will help you where you might also be a person that is dealing with low energy, low vibration, depression, grief, sadness, let's see, overwhelmed with the way things are going in your life, in your family, your relationships, or whatever, and where you feel like, I've done everything I could, but no matter what I do, nothing changes, nothing happens. But you got to be careful with that, because what you're thinking is what you're creating. So you got to be mindful. Is like, I meet people, and there's times that I hear a lot of people say, I'm poor. You don't want to say you're poor. That's why the I am affirmations are so important. Your brain doesn't know the difference with the words that you say. So you can trick your brain believing that you're rich, so if you have financial problems, don't go around telling people that you're poor, because that's what you're creating. You're creating lack, you know. So you got to let go of that energy. That mindset is thinking that you're poor. You are rich. That is what you got to believe. We are kings and queens, and we've been lied to. So this video is to help you that, you know, people are struggling a lot in the world and don't know what way to go and what way to turn. And if you're in a city, run. You know, you really, being in the city, that is where, you know, there's a lot of depression, a lot of toxic energies. You know, that's where a lot of people get drawn to, you know, and they get drawn into the cities, you know, areas. And that is like the third dimensional 3D reality. So this is what this video is about, is that is where most people are. They're afraid. They're afraid that this isn't going to work out. They're afraid that the relationship that they're in isn't gonna, you know, you'd feel it. You can feel it. You know, most of the time with a relationship, you can feel it, unless they've been pretending for a long time and you didn't see it coming, and then bam, they're gone. Like Starlight has done that before. Starlight has been there where, you know, for safety reasons, it's like, you know what, when I feel like my life is threatened in a relationship, you know, I learned, you know, I don't have to tell them that I'm leaving. I just need to have a plan. And, you know, and that is the wise thing to do, is have a plan and don't tell anybody. And, you know, if you're in a bad situation in a relationship where you feel threatened by someone, you don't want to, that's the wrong relationship. You shouldn't feel like that in a relationship. So it's so important in those kind of situations to really have a plan, and don't tell anybody your plan. Just do what you got to do. So in this third dimension, like your cell phones, pretend that, you know, like the 3G, you know, it's kind of funny, my phone goes back and forth to 4G to 5G. So is that you don't have to stay at that low frequency, that low vibration, like being in the city. Who likes being in the city? Some of you like it because of the stores and different things, depending on what city. A lot of people, everywhere I go, they hear that I am from New York, and I am so surprised because I meet really intelligent people, really smart people, but when you say you're from New York, everybody thinks you came from the city, New York, New York. No! So cities like that, you know, cities, that is a low frequency, a low vibration, a fear frequency. And that is where most of the people in the whole world are, is that they're afraid. Just like with COVID, is that when COVID came, you know, I was afraid in the beginning, but my mentor helped me to get through that. Thank you. And, you know, he helped me to let love guide you, not fear. And that is, you know, if you are in a fear frequency, always afraid of what the news people are telling you, always afraid, you know, I don't even have to listen to the news. People will tell me what the news is, you know. I don't want, you know, like, it's like, but there's things on the news that we have to pay attention to, but there are some people out there, they know how to read through the bullshit. They know how to read through the lies. And even movies, there's movies out there that will warn you about things to watch out for. I did not watch this movie, but Sinners is a movie that I heard that you need to check out, because it's letting you know of things that are real. There's movies out there that will tell you the truth in those movies, but it will look like, you know, oh, that's just a movie like The Matrix. But no, those Hollywood stars purposely do this to wake people up. The ones that get it are gonna get the messages. They're gonna, oh, that's what they're talking about. But if you're sleeping still because you've been taking fluoride and believing all the lies that you've been told, then you're not gonna see those right away. You're not gonna understand what's going on, because they've been feeding you fluoride. They've been feeding you lies. They've been programming you from your family. Your family got programmed, you know, and their family got programmed, and we just keep on, you know, sorry, Starlight's got to get some. This room is really hard to be into because I do have a fan this time, but whew, yeah, so you've been programmed, you've been lied to, your ancestors, all the way from the beginning of time. So they're only, you know, your family has only been, you know, taking information and wisdom and knowledge from their family, but then they were lied to. So we need to, you know, let go of those self-limiting programs that they've done to us, and where, you know, a lot of people are afraid. I can't be in a situation where I am today being afraid of everything. I'm a female out here by myself, traveling, parking my car who knows where. I am protected. I am safe. I am protected. I am safe. I am protected. I am safe. The universe is protecting me, the archangels, but I have to ask for help to get that help. You know, I am doing things out here I never thought I would be doing, because I'm out here on a mission. I'm learning stuff as I'm going on this, through this journey here. So, but most people are afraid. I've had people sending their fear on me that I'm the one living in my car, but then they're like, oh, you gotta be, you know, be careful. I went in the woods yesterday, and a man, I was sitting down at a bench, or actually ready to sit down on a bench or whatever, and he was walking through, and we were kind of walking together on different trails but leading to the same path. And I seen this guy before, and it's kind of weird, you know. He's like, hey, did you hear the tree? You know, like, you know, it was a really, really super windy day yesterday, and he's like, I don't know where he got this information, but, you know, because we're both heading there, you know, on two different trails, meeting in the same trail, and there was a tree that fell down in the woods. You know, already the tree already fell. The tree already landed. It's windy out, you know. And on his way back out, he said, hey, be careful out here, you know, because that tree fell down. So he's living in a fear mode. I don't even have to get to know him too much. You know, it's like, oh, you're afraid that a tree is going to land on your head. If it's my time, it's my time. You know, I was laying out yesterday out at the park. The wind was blowing. I could hear snap and crackling, you know, in the trees, you know, and I could be like, ah, something's gonna crash and land on me. But you gotta let fear go. And that is like with the city, that is that kind of energy, that low frequency, that low vibration energy. So if you're in a city, yeah, you're going to be around a whole bunch of people that are afraid, you know, to go in those certain areas. And yeah, there are some areas that you really should not go in. You know, if there's people like in a gang, that's a kind of a fear that will save your ass. I'm not talking about that kind of fear. You know, it's not like you would want to go to bad places that you know that people are killing people and shooting people. That if you go there, you're asking for trouble, you know. But I'm talking about fear like the media, you know, putting fear out all the time, feeding you like candy, you know, putting fear out there. And so a lot of people in society, they're afraid. There's people around, even right here, right now, where I am, still wearing a mask. They're afraid. They're living on a fear frequency, a low vibration, but you don't have to stay there. You could be afraid about your financial situation, afraid about that relationship not working out. It's okay. We got to let go of those kind of relationships, you know. You know, if somebody's going to leave you, let them leave. You know, if they were meant to be with you, you know, like, they will be with you. But if they're not, you got to let them go, because a lot of times those people are just our teachers helping us to get through to the right one that God already has set for us. So we got to let go of fear. And when you learn to let go of fear and trust God, please trust God, but you got to pray. You got to do the work. You can't just like sit around thinking that everything's just going to happen. No, there's work involved. There's things that you got to do. You got to trust the process. But when you let go of fear, you don't have to stay in that low frequency in the city. Like, and you know, you can escape that city. You can let go of that low frequency, that low vibrational energy, and you can rise up to a higher frequency, just like a 3G phone or a 4G phone. You know, like a 3G phone, I can't use a 3G phone. And it is kind of funny, because like with my phone, it goes from 4G to 5G, 40, you know, depending on where I am. If it's a really bad area, then it's like 4G. And then other times it's 5G, because it's, you know, so that's how I am right now, is there's times that I'm shifting You know, there's times that I could be afraid of something, and then I gotta trust in, you know, trust the process. I gotta relax. I gotta keep cool. I gotta do my I am affirmations. I am letting go of fear. I am letting go of fear. I am letting go of fear. I am facing my fears. And you could shift up to a higher dimension, you know, shifting up to the third dimension, to the fourth, shifting to the fifth, which the fifth dimension, a higher frequency, a higher vibration, is the love frequency, and that's where you really want to be. So like Starlight is working on, I've been wanting to make this video, but so like in an elevator, you can be on a third floor and a third frequency, a three-dimensional frequency, the fear frequency, the 3D, or you can go like in an elevator and you can rise higher into another dimension, still being in the same space and time. So you can be in other dimensions, like in an elevator, you're still in the same elevator, but you're rising to another floor. You're rising to the third floor, to the fourth, to the fifth in a higher frequency. So you don't have to stay in that low frequency where everybody's afraid. And you got to really be mindful of the kind of people. Are you around people that are always trying to get you afraid? You know, like, they're gonna, you know, like in New York with the snow, that always happened. It drove me cuckoo. People would come to me and like put their fears onto me. So those are the people that you want to avoid in a way. You really do. You want to avoid those people. They're going to keep you down at a low frequency, a low vibration. They're always afraid of this. They're afraid to do that. They're afraid to, you know, do all kind. I have to let love guide me and not fear in this situation. You know, living in my car like this, I'm not going to be in this situation forever. The universe has got this planned for me, and this is how it's got to work out for me. I am learning stuff as I'm going, because I'm going to help other people later on that are going to end up in the same situation. So we have to let go of fear. We have to face our fears. Stop running away from people or things. Now there's, like I said, people, when it comes to people, if they're vampires, yeah, get away from them, you know, but you gotta let love guide you, not fear, and don't be afraid of everything that the news tells you. Be prepared, be prepared, and to make changes and do things to prepare for those things. But like with COVID, like I mentioned in the other video, what would you do is, if there was another pandemic and they're gonna, like this could happen anytime, would you take the, injection because a new pandemic? Are you gonna fall for the same shit that they did last time, is to put fear out there and to force you? It could be that they're gonna force you to take something against your own free will. Are you gonna let fear control you? Or are you going to let love and say, no, I am still staying firm. I am not going to let you inject my body with that injection at all. This is my body, So you have to let go of fear. You got to stop being afraid, and saying that you're poor. Stop being afraid of, taking risk, healthy risk. We got to let go. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So you got to be careful. Fear is an illusion. That is what you got to realize. You can make yourself more afraid by not trusting the process. You got to trust in God. You can't do this all on your own. You got to believe that God is going to help you. But you got to ask for help. You got to ask, please help me. I'm struggling right now. I don't know what I'm doing. Please, can you guide me? And that's why I make videos about these numbers. This is how the universe can guide you. Or dreams. If you didn't watch out my video for, dreams, then you're missing out. Dreams have meanings. Yes, those meanings are messages that the universe is sending you. God is sending you dreams. Like I had some crazy ass dreams. That helps me because subconsciously I'm not aware of things that I'm dealing with deep inside of me. where it will bring it out, and then I'll be able to see, oh my, that is what I'm struggling with. This, I didn't even realize this. It hasn't been brought up to the surface, but it's the way God actually can bring it up to the surface. So now, like you could see clearly enough to know, okay, these are the things that I need to work on in my life. When I work on, you got to do the homework. You get messages from God. If you don't do the homework, then you know what? There's no sense in, taking the time to get the numbers and looking them up if you're not going to do the homework. It's just like being in school. If you're getting taught something in school, but if you don't study and you get a bad grade, well, it's your fault because you didn't study. It's the same thing with these numbers and dreams and, the way the universe speaks to us through, numbers and symbols and dreams and animals and people. You can get a message from my YouTube channel. Oh, the universe can use Starlight. Bam. Okay, Starlight's making a video talking to you about something. You say, hey, that was a great message, but if you don't do shit with it, you ain't gonna get shit out of it. Things, we have to work in order to make it work. You can't just expect that, hey, I watched a video, great video, but then you don't do nothing. You just turn the computer off and go about your own life and don't do anything about it. People say, hey, I'm doing the I am affirmations. Are you doing it every day? People say, hey, I found out what my life purpose is. What are you doing about it? So be careful about saying what you're going to do. Is that you got to do it. You got to act upon it. You got to be consistent. You got to be diligent. You can't just do it like when you feel like doing it, because that's not going to work. So you got to let go of fear. You got to face your fears, and it's not easy. It takes time. When you learn to let go of fear, I had to have notes all through my house. Fear not, all over my apartment. Let love guide me, not fear. All through my apartment. You know what? When I had a fear thought, which is fear evidence appearing real, I realized, you know what? I am not afraid of that. I'm going to change. I'm going to face that. I'm going to face that. Like going out for a job. Is it scary going to talk to a new boss or an employer or somebody, like to go for a job interview? But if you don't go there, you're not going to get the job. So you got to let go of that fear in order to get that job, So we got to let go of that fear. I had the fear of driving. Here I am in California. Where? I'm out in California now, and I am so grateful. That fear would have stopped me from learning all the wisdom and knowledge that I've learned, the people that I met, the beautiful experiences, the scenery and all that stuff. I wouldn't have been able to enjoy any of that if I was afraid to leave New York. What would have happened if I just never left New York and just stayed in New York? I would have been working a 9-to-5 job, not paying, not making enough money, and not being able to, enjoy life. That's where I would have been if I stayed in New York. I am free now. I am free. I am rich and I am free. Even though I'm living in my car, I am actually more rich and happy than some people that have it all. They might have all the job, the money, the family, but they're miserable with what they have. Not all people, but there are some people that are miserable. They have all these material stuff, a beautiful car, a beautiful house, but I'm happier than they are. So anyway, you don't have to stay in a low frequency. You got to let go of that fear. You got to trust God. You got to, I don't believe in God. Well, you better start. What can I say? You can't do this all on your own. You need help. So it's okay to ask for help, but ask for the right help. There's people that can help you and guide you. There's a whole bunch of people on YouTube, that can help you. But if you just sit there and you're going to sink. You got to, if it was sinking sand and you're, what are you going to do? You're in sinking sand, right? You're in there. What are you going to do? Just sink? There's a branch. There's a root, from a tree. You're going to have to, you better grab a hold of that root, be grateful that root, that's like God giving you a hand using a root, a plant, so you can grab a hold of that. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. That's the reality. It's going to be hard because that sinking sand is pulling you down. It's heavy. It's pulling you down. That's how this 3D matrix is. It wants to pull you down, and it's going to use anyone and everything and all these kind of ways of pulling you down further. You know, it's like being in a hole. It's easy to go down the hole, isn't it? But it's hard to come back up. So you got to grab a hold of that branch like it's God and pull and ask for the strength to pull yourself back out of that sinking sand. Because if you don't, you're going to go down and you're going to sink. You know, you don't want that. So you got to let love guide you, not fear. I love you so much. You can rise to the 5th dimension where love is. That's where you want to be, is love. You know, letting go of fear, letting go of doubt, letting go of people that are afraid. Let go of those people. They're only going to pull you down. They're only going to pull you down like that sinking sand. So don't let them, you know, pull you down by getting you down in that hole even further. So, you know, be around people that make you feel like sunshine. Be around people that are positive. Those are the kind of people you want to spend time with. I love you so much. You can give this video a thumbs up. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can leave me a message down below, beep, beep, beep. And you could share my videos with your family, your friends. A camel? Yeah, share my videos with a camel and an elephant. Plus, you can also check out my playlist and find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that's Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. I love you all. You don't have to stay at the 3rd dimension, the 3D, the fear frequency. Let love guide you up. Let love guide you. Let go of fear. You know, let love guide you, and you know, let that fear go. Face your fears. Say, I am not afraid. You know what? I've been afraid of you. I've been afraid of this person my whole life. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna face that person. I'm gonna face that family member. I'm gonna tell them what I need to say. I am not gonna let them bully me around. I'm gonna face, you know, this person here at co-work, you know, one of my co-workers at work. I'm not gonna put up with that bullying around anymore. I'm gonna face that person. I'm gonna be wise at what I say to that person. I'm going to be kind, but in a smart, wise, you know, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. So be wise on how to handle people, what you're going to say, plan it ahead of time. Say, you know what? I'm not letting you bully me around. I'm not going to let fear stop me from living my life. I'm going to do this. I got to do this, because that's the only way that you're going to get to that 5th dimension, the 5D, where love is there waiting for you. I love you. I love you so much. You can, like I said, you can do all that and enjoy your day. You're afraid to go in the woods? Stop being afraid of going in the woods. See, that fear is stopping you finding out who you are and enjoying nature. I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.